Let's be having you. They've all gone bonkers. It's all going TOT, I'm telling you. It's all going bonkers. People are bidding here and there. Tom, have your bid been accepted yet?
I'm on the deadline. I made the deadline.
Are you on the Logan? What about your bid? Connor, have you bidded yet? What have they said about your bid? Listen, Tom and the rest of the journalists in this country and everywhere have been waffling about QSI, QA. Nothing to do with them. This is a foundation, 92 foundation charity stuff. That's what this is to do with. So this was a private bid, and we'll see where they get. Jim Radcliffe is just throwing his hat in. I don't believe in that business. Radcliffe is just throwing his hat in. But the question is tonight, people. The question is, why are the other bidders silent? Why are they silent? But welcome, people. Smash a like on your way in. Smash a like on your way in. I can see Giddy Army. It is at the full frontal tonight. Big up West Express. Big up Wes. Big up everybody. Big up Bundy. Kenny Bundy. Big up Nuri Man United. Not Radcliffe. Yes. No to Radcliffe. Yes to Qatar. Well, we're gonna be looking at tonight who wants who. That's what it's gonna be. But big up, welcome to the show. Welcome, Tom. Welcome our Tommy. So tonight on Therapy Army, we're gonna be talking about a takeover debate. Who do we want? Who are the other bidders? We already now it's official. Qatar a bid, and the fella whose bid is in the photo. The fella in the bid, his name is Jasmine Hamad bin Al-Tadi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. he's the basically, if anybody wants to, he's the bigger brother of the Emir of Qatar. Right. And he's the son of the former Emir of Qatar.
So the former Prime Minister, yeah. So he's
the former Prime Minister, yeah.
Yeah. So he's the former Prime Minister, his dad, his name is Hamad bin Jasmine bin Jabbar Al-Thani. Check it out, man.
They're all from the same family. They're all from the Al-Thani family, the royal family. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. And somebody made a statement, and it was Neil bin Ashton bin Jasmine bin Ria. Neil bin Ahmed bin Jasmine bin Ashton. That's who made it. Neil Ashton would have been proud of that. Neil Ashton would have been proud of that PR. We'll bring Man United back to the top. Listen, talk is cheap, mate. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. But let the people come in. Come in. All United fans, welcome. Welcome in all United fans. Let the room fill up, man. Let the room fill up. Let the stream fill up. What the F is the obsession with Scousers at this club? Sabotaging scrum. I'm not having it.
Listen, I told you, Mercer, he's moving in his boys.
Old tight Logan. Old tight Logan is on the Scouse tip like me. Yeah. Listen, we love Liverpool fans. I love and respect Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
I got nothing against them. I understand that we're the two of the biggest clubs in this country, in Britain, by absolute miles. Celtic and Rangers might be able to have a way about it. I don't know. But anyway, respect comes from the rivalry. But I do not want any Liverpool fans, any Liverpool players ever playing for Man United. I never want that. Never wanted it. I don't want it. I don't need it. But let everybody come in first. Let's get into it. Tom, how you feeling anyway? Are you back in the 7 hills? 7 cold hills, man.
Not yet. No, I'm not back in the 7
hills. Hey! Tom bin Ahmed Al Wahid, eh? Is that It's all kicking off. It's all happening, people. I'm telling you. Tom all along has been part of the Qatar movement. I'm telling you.
Listen, I might be one of the mystery bidders. I don't disclose.
I'm telling you. I think Tom's the one who literally handed in the piece of paper. Tom, are you in New York? Are you with the rain group? Where are you? Or should we say Sheikh Tom bin
Sheikh Tom bin Sheikh
Tom Sheikh Tom tonight, people. We got Sheikh Tom on the stream tonight. It's all going off. It's all going off, mate. It's all going off. Honestly, this is the debate that most of you wanted, guys. This is the debate wanted you. So let's get into it with a few quotes, right? So a few bonus bits on Sheikh bin Ahmed. Man USC bin 9-2 foundation, right? Has been set up specifically to buy Manchester United FC. The name nods to the class of 92, but also because 1992 is the first time United won the league, innit?
Well, it was the time when he was a fan.
Yeah, it's the Sheikh Jasmine. Sheikh Jasmine started supporting Man United when he was 10. Okay. Do
you believe he's a Man United fan, or has he not been through the side door?
Guy, everybody kept telling me the other guy was, and I said I never saw him at Old Trafford. I never saw him get into OT to do the secret door. You know, the doors that me, like commoners like me, are not allowed. I never see that fella. And then I saw him the other day watching the game in at Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, he was in Paris. Yeah, he was in the director's box.
Big up Logan, United Real Therapy Journals. Yeah, big up Logan and Kenny Buddy. Alpha Sheikh, maybe I should call you Alpha Sheikh Kennedy Buddy. Sheikh Jasmine has the funds in place to buy Man UFC outright, and the club will be debt free. All profits will be reinvested into United and the community. Community, hey, have a bit of that. So the Qataris, if the Qataris want to invest heavily into the club, wipe out the debt. The Glazers have loaded us with the club redeveloped training ground, Old Trafford, as well as the surrounding area. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, Sheikh Jasmine started supporting. Yeah, hey, there we go. Come on, my son, he says. 2G Draw said, come on, my son. It's the business of the brother Sheikh Mansour. No. No, they're basically two. One is from Abu Dhabi, and the other ones, they got similar names. It's basically having sort of like European or American names, like, you know, like British names where you got somebody with the same names on Australia, you got the same names on New Zealand, you got same in the names.
There's different, it's just different pronunciation.
It's
that's
different
why.
Pronunciations, but yeah, Sheikh just means, Sheikh is actually.
It means you're loaded.
A religious figure.
Yeah.
It's like a Sheikh. Sheikh means somebody who's respectful of highest outstanding, and he usually speaks to a religious figure.
But it's normally
like the Sheikh. You know, the Sheikh is the person who calls people to prayers and stuff like that. You know, the Sheikh who's
it's basically somebody who, if they walk down the street as a figure, you would know who they are. Or you'd know their name or what they're about, because that's why they've been given that title, and they are privileged people.
Yeah, it also means that I think you've been to Mecca as well. Like you've been to.
Yeah, I think it's got something to do with religion.
Yeah, it's got to do with Mecca. Yeah, so the Sheikh. So a lot of people now. I got friends like who are Arab who just they call each other Sheikh. All right, Sheikh. They call me a Sheikh. It's a kind of respect. Like it's your honor. It's an honorary thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's name. Yeah. It's like the honor, the great honorable. That's it. It'll be like the great honorable. The equivalent would be the great honorable Tom bin and Ashton. Tom bin, Sheikh Tom bin. Oh God, guys! I'm telling you, I'm changing the name from day.
Oh man!
I'm changing it. I'm telling you, I'm changing it to Sheikh Tom bin Ashton. That's what you're called now, Tom. I'm telling you.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, that's what you're called. But anyway, let's get through this.
Let's get through
it. As we speak right now, in the last 2-3 minutes, Jim Ratcliffe's bid also the money borrowed to fund the takeover mandate will be borne by Ineos rather than the club, meaning that no fresh debt will added to the club's balance sheet. Well, that's a BS. That cannot happen, people, because at the end of the day, it'll be Ineos who owns Man United. And if Ineos get in trouble, banks will look at Ineos' assets, which is what? Man United is one of them. So that's the BS. Anyway, any bid needs to be scrutinized. But Tom, talk to me. How you feeling? Where are you? Where are you in the world?
I'm in the UK. I will confirm
Yes,
that.
he's in the UK. He's in the UK. He's not outside the
I'm not in
London
England.
Stock
I'm not in
Exchange.
England.
He's in
First and
England.
foremost,
He's in England.
I'm
He's
not
not
in
met the
England. I'm not
Rain
in
Group,
England.
as we know yet.
I'm not in
You know,
England.
some
I'm not in
reports
England.
are out there. He's in England, but have you spoken to or met the Rain Group? Chef Income. Have you met any of the...
I've just fired off an email now.
Tom, have we distracted you? Have we distracted you from the negotiations in this process? Sheikh Tom bin.
You've pulled me from the computer.
Yeah, Ineos Waxman aimed for a long-term custodian of Manchester United in a set standard of a progressive approach club ownership. As locally born, he wants Man United FC. Okay. Sources is calling Radcliffe's bid British to make the club a beacon for modern progressive fan-centered approach ownership. Rob Harris. Okay, Robbie Harris.
I don't get this terminology though. Why is it so interesting that it's British? It's a British bid. What's the what's the emphasis on Britain?
It's xenophobia, mate. Xenophobia. And there are some British people who like to peddle in xenophobia, Tom. To me, it's xenophobic language because...
Oh, listen, we know about that today, don't we? Don't
Yeah,
even go there.
and we're going to come to that. We're going to come to that. Tom, we're going to come to that. We know that a lot of people traffic in xenophobia in this country, especially journalists and media.
Yeah.
Scaremonger. But the funniest thing is, Ineos is not a British company. It is a multinational company, global company. That's what it is. And it avoids tax everywhere. It makes sure it's registered in a dodgy place like every other global multinational. So I'm sorry. I'm not buying this British bid or whatever. Radcliffe has told Rain Group that he can be the long-term custodian of the club after receiving Wall Street backing. Well, we don't need Wall Street backing, mate. Man United need to get the hell away from Wall Street. That's what Man United need to do. If the Glazers don't get top dollar for Manchester United, they ain't going anywhere. Woohoo! There you go, people. I told you all of this one.
They're firing off. They're firing back, you know.
I told you from day dot. There we go. That's one of the most interesting things. If the Glazers don't get top dollar for Manchester United, they ain't going anywhere. Sky Kef. Well, there we go.
It's a battle of PR, though, isn't it, Nuruddin?
Yeah, of course.
You've got the Sheikh's statement that he's put out from his own PR team has come out. Jim's had obviously someone brief the press. You'll have Americans who will do it in the dark or privately that Americans are interested or whatever. Yeah. And then the Glazers are just going to fire back and say, well, if we don't get the money that we want, it's like this is big. We're not talking like a couple of quid here. We're talking billions of pounds. Like this is livelihoods. This is life-changing money. At the end of the day, none of us would ever see this amount of money in our lives anyway. When you even think of £1 billion, that's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
Just 1 billion, 5 billion.
Exactly.
You're talking a completely different life.
100%. I agree with you, Tom. And this Windy Grant always ever one of the most insightful and reflective comments in the comment section. Windy says, it's obscene that the Glazers will walk away with over 3 billion profit tax-free for absolutely putting us in a mix that if they do sell, that's what they're gonna walk over with.
Do you know what's funny though, Nuruddin, right? They're gonna right. If you're talking about this, right?
18 years, no, we need to address this. For 18 years of hell they put us through. They're gonna
walk in 18 years though, Nuruddin. Let me just make this point. They've invested.
And then people think the world is a fair place and it's a just place.
In 18 years, let me just make this point, right? Manchester City's owners have put £1 billion in at least for 10 years, for a decade, right? In 18 years, you know how much these people have actually invested in this team? 100 to 200 million pounds. That's all they've invested out of their own pocket, and they're going to walk away with £3 billion. It is so they're going to walk away with a net profit, if you want to use net profits, of around 2.7 to 2.8 billion pounds in tax-free cash. It's ridiculous. And it's scandalous that you can buy a football club when you're broke, basically, and you can walk away billionaires. It's laughable. Absolutely laughable.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. It's really, really fascinating. Big up Hamza, Hamza Zain. It's really, really interesting, people. I'm not going to lie to you. It's so fascinating because I've read. We're gonna come into that. We're gonna ask you guys in a minute. We're gonna hopefully try to do this in an hour. We're gonna have a rational debate, people. For me, who do I want owning Manchester United? So everybody's been asking me. Everybody and their nan. I've been like, who do you want? People stop me on the street. So the Glazers are going, who do you want? Who do you want? And I'm like, well, this is the criteria I want. This is the 4 or 5 things I want for Manchester United. I'll put it in my face, people. I'll count one by one. Number 1, debt-free. I don't want to ever see any debt anywhere near Man United's name ever again. I don't want to hear a 50p debt. 50p. I don't want it. That's number 1. Number 2, do you care about Manchester United? And do you care about the fans who have been through hell in the past 18 years? That's number 2. Do you care? And by caring, I mean, are you going to invest in a stadium? Are you going to invest in a stadium for the women and the youth team in Manchester? Are you going to redevelop the area of Manchester United? Are you going to do it? Are you going to post a PR bullshit quote saying you're going to do, but you're not going to do? I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're from Timbuktu, from Mars or Jupiter or Saturn. I don't care. I don't care whether you're from around the corner or you live in some Matt Busby way. I don't care. I do not care where you're from in the world. No xenophobia here. So, number 1, debt-free. I want Man United, and what I mean by debt-free, I don't want Man United to be listed in a stock exchange. I don't want Man United having anything to do with Wall Street. I don't want any of that. I want Man United to be a football club in the heart of a community. So, these are the things. These are big things, people. So, are you hearing this? Are you listening? 3rd, no more dividends. No more profits to be taken out of Man United to be invested in somewhere else. No. Not going for that. Not going for that. Number 5, do you get fans involved? If you ever shell any shares in this football club, do you give first option to the global fan base, local and global? Yes or no? Are you doing that? Are you respecting the manager? Does the manager have the power and is the most important person in the club there? And is the manager then going to be surrounded by a team of experts and competent people who are going to help and support the sporting project? I've said loads, people. That's 5. I can say more. I can say more. But they're the things that are important to me. Those things are critical to me because you can have all the money you want from Qatar if Qatar buy Man United, and you can be run like the way they ran, try to build the Galacticos team like they've done with PSG. We don't want that. That's not with our values as Manchester United. We don't want another Muppet Ed Wood type of figure calling himself bin whatever, bin Jamal, bin whatever. I don't care what you're called. Whether you're Woodwood or bin Jamal or Sheikh this, Sheikh that, I don't care. What I care about is that, do you understand the project that Eric Ten Hag is undertaking? Do you understand what Eric Ten Hag's philosophy? Do you understand that what the type of football he wants to play? Do you understand that he's the most important voice, even as fans, as an owner where you don't agree with him? Do you give him that leeway to go ahead, Ten Hag? You've done what you've done. We're going to trust in you. And hopefully at the end it's going to turn out well. Because I don't want to buy Neymar and I don't want to buy Mbappe because I don't want Galacticos who think they're more important than the football club. No one player is more important than Man United. Not one person is more important than Man United. So I don't want Neymar, I don't want Mbappe being paid ludicrous amount of money thinking that he's the don and he's the one in control like it is at PSG. I don't want it at my football club. I don't. I'm letting it be known right now, people. Clip this up all you want. Have all the money in the fucking world. If you're bringing that absolute horrible, disgraceful type of football structure to this football club where players are worshipped like they've done something. Nada. This ain't FIFA. This is real life. No Galacticos.
Yep.
A team wins, team loses. We support the team. Support the manager and the people around. Get the best, most competent people in the world in fitness, in rehab, in all diet, nutrition, sleep. Everybody.
But that comes with a training ground, doesn't it?
The football club and the footballers who play for Man United, whether they're under 14s, under 12s, whether they are the first team, whether they are the women's under 15s, under 17, under 18, all of the football teams, focus. I want any other thing with the foundation to be totally separate. What that business and the money that foundation makes, totally, if it's Qatar, to be separate from the football department. Only footballing people. Start with footballing people. Science, research people. Sports science, injury and rehab, research people. That's what I want. That is what I want. Now, there's never been any perfect owners. Never been. Never been the perfect owner. And a little message to Samuel Racist Lockhurst. We saw your racism once again today, because you know what? You know when you're racist here, regardless how much you try to hide it, the veil slips. And your true self, you will always reveal who you are. You can never hide when you have xenophobia and prejudice in your heart. You can never hide it. You can re-edit how many different articles you want. You can re-edit. So this is my 2 pence to all the journos, if the Qataris were to be successful to buy Man United, who are now doing all this morality. It's gonna be the worst thing in the world. All of you, cry me a river. Cry me a river. The day that Ibrahimovic was allowed to take over Chelsea was the day the genie came out the bottle. The day the genie came out the bottle. People go to me, Tom. Chelsea will not stay owned. Are you effing kidding me? Why?
He's a Russian oligarch.
Why did Ibrahimovic have to sell Chelsea ASAP as soon as the war kicked off in Ukraine? Because it was state-owned. He
was funded by the Russian government. That's why.
He's a Russian oligarch. Let me explain people to something. You know what? I'm one of these people that understands the politics, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to give you a quick little history lesson. Are you ready? Are you listening? I'm going to give you a little history. There was a fall of the Soviet Union. Fall of the Soviet Union happened 1990. That's when the Berlin Wall fell. That meant there was no greater equal powers in the world anymore. So basically, the US and the West won, and the Soviet Union collapsed because economically it could not sustain the military might and all of the things that it was opposing the United States. It was called the Cold War. They fought over every part of the world. You were either with the US or you were either with the Soviet Union. That collapsed. And a drunken guy called Boris Yeltsin was put in charge. Boris Yeltsin. I'm going to say it slowly for you guys. At the back, Boris Yeltsin, a drunken stooge, was put up to be the president of Russia. And Russia, all of a sudden, became a capitalist country. Capitalism. Money, 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 money. Making it rain. You know what happened then? All of the Russian people's money, the Soviet Union money, all of it in all of the big industries, which were all nationalized, like the aluminium, like the oil and gas, all of those were given to gangsters like Ibrahimovic. Gangsters like Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic was the only person in the room bidding for the aluminium company and the oil company. Facts! I don't tell you no lies. Research this for yourself. So, that the first day that this country, Britain, the FA, the Premier League, UEFA, FIFA, call it whoever you want, people, allowed Ibrahimovic to take over Chelsea, state-backed clubs began. You hearing that, people? So the genie, boom, out the bottle. And then you had the City takeover. You've got that. Then they had the PSG takeover. Then you've got Newcastle against Saudi Arabia takeover. So all this moralizing, where were you? Where was this moralizing when Russian oligarch billionaires were allowed to wash their dirty money, thief money that they robbed from the Russian people to enrich themselves, right? Former KGB guys, former government politicians' friends robbing and thieving the Russian people's money while Russian people were starving, some of them starving, some of the poverty in Russia in the 90s. Go and look it up. Don't listen to anything I say. Don't listen to anything I say. Look it up for yourself. Where was the moralizing then? Where was it? Or is it only when it comes to Man United? Oh, I get you now. You know those two things. Whether it's Jim, whether it's Qatar, cry me effing river. Because you have no moral standing to lecture the fan base and talk about, the soul of Manchester United. You know what? Who's got the soul of Man United? Who have it? And always through generation. The fans, not the effing owners. Manchester United, we're unique. You know why we're unique? There was loads of different protests, even in the 80s, against Edwards. You know, the people who own Man United, Martin Edwards, you know, the Edwards family. There were protests against them. There were protests against McManus and McMahon. There were protests, longest running protests in the history of football against any owner in top flight football for the past 18 years. It's been Manchester United fans. So don't you effing dare moralize to us. Not to us. Not fucking to us. Get the fuck out of here with that type of language about the soul of Man United. You don't give two damn. You're there every week. Every week you're there. Samuel Race's lockers. You're there. At Derby days. I see you there sitting on those comfy seats at the Etihad. Do you ever talk about Man City? Or do you ever talk about when we play PSG in the Champions League? Do you ever talk about them? No, you don't. So save it for new people who want to hear it. Now, a message to the United fans. Because we're so big globally, whether you're a match-going fan, whether you're just a fair weather fan, wherever you are in the world, everybody has their own opinion. My message to you is let's not fall out. We are in not power. We're not in power. And I'm sorry to say, another big thing that predates Ibrahimovic taking over is Sky. When Sky took over and the global game became global, this was going to be the terrain that we're going to. Because it's not even a billionaire's game now. Nation state game. Who do you think is going to take over Liverpool? Do you think it's going to be Frankie just down the corner, Scouser lad? That's going to take over Liverpool? No. Another billionaires, state-owned, backed by state-owned people are going to take over Liverpool as well. So, genie's out the bottle. The genie's out the bottle. So that is what I have to say for now. Tom, I'm going to mute and let you break it down. Who you want? What are the conditions? What are the conditions for you to who you want to be who own Manchester United? And by the way, there are no perfect owners.
Yeah,
if
no.
Qataris, if it's Jim Radcliffe, if it's the Qataris, if it is what we think is a hedge fund, New York hedge fund consortium, like it is at Chelsea, who want to take it over, who are hiding now, hiding people, because that's what I'm worried about. The ones who are hiding. We'll come to that in a minute. But Tom, I want you to walk me through. I want you to comment on your 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 bullet points you want from Manchester United as a Manchester United fan. I then want you to address the media and this moralizing BS. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you think Europe or Britain has got a leg to stand on to moralize to other countries.
Well, this is what I was just going to say in terms of the fact of that. Listen, any of these people that have made money or billionaires who are going to bid for Man United, they're not billionaires with morals. Like you've not become a billionaire, with beliefs and morals. At the end of the day, that's all the only thing I would say on that. In terms of the things that I would want from any prospective owner, first and foremost, they've got to come in, and I want a communication line with the fans. I want the fans to have a voice within that club and within the actual ownership and how it's not day to day running. But I want people to realise that the fans are what make this football club happen. Because without the fans, you can have billions of pounds, trillions of pounds. It doesn't matter if nobody's going to go to that stadium and watch the game. You've got no. There's no point in building a new stadium. There's no point investing in a team if you've got nobody there to watch it. If you've got nobody there to entertain or to please, there's nobody there. So first and foremost, I want a communication line open from the ownership to the fans. I don't just want it to be to top Reds or anybody like that. I want it to be in terms of the actual fans who go to the games week in, week out. Pensioners, kids, families, get different demographics of what different fans are wondering and what different fans are thinking about the football club. Part two, we need a pledged investment. We need to get this debt off of our football club. Like we've seen with Qatar and people like that, Sir Jim, whatever way that they're looking at doing it, they are looking at getting rid of the debt, whether it's they leverage it on a business or they just come and take and pay it all off and get rid of it. Third and foremost, we need investment into a new stadium. And what I would personally do is what I'm believing with, especially with Qatar anyway. I think with Qatar, they're wanting to build a brand new stadium from scratch, potentially on the car park area, and then they would downsize Old Trafford at the status that it is at now, and they would make that into the women's and youth team stadium, similar to how City have it now with the Etihad, but they just built a new women's and youth stadium instead of dismantling the Etihad down to making it a new thing. That's what I think they would do in that regard anyway, because the projectors, they've just done it with, building 8 new stadiums in Qatar, and they're looking at dismantling 6 of them already. So at the end of the day, they know what they're doing in that regard in terms of sizing down and making the most of an opportunity. So a new stadium has got to be another one. The training ground, like you said, Nuruddin, it's not just about the actual training ground itself, the pitches and the complex and the facilities and that. It's not just about that. We need proper sport, proper people in operations, proper sports science departments, health and rehab and health and care. I think we do need people like, psychologists and things like that in our football club. We need people who have, masters of the mind, if you like. We need people about culture, enthusiasm, passion. Have people there who've had experiences. Or you get a club legend, for example. They come to the football club and they tell you what it's, and they set the record straight about the culture of Man United in the past and how you're going to revolutionise that in the modern day. And then third and finally, like it's been said here with what Sheikh Al Thani's pledge is, he wants to invest in the team, which if he wants to invest in the team, he will invest in this manager. And if he says that he's a Manchester United fan like he is, Nuruddin, we will find out if he is to buy the football club. Because if he ain't entertained watching Ten Hag's football at this moment in time, I don't know who else of a manager is going to go and get. Therefore, I would presume he will stick with Erik Ten Hag if he was to be successful. And then he would invest in Ten Hag's plans and projects. But like you said as well, Nuruddin, he's got to have the control. And ultimately, the manager has the final say on who his players are and who he wants to bring in.
Media. What about the media, Tom?
And you've got to get into
all the moralizing.
Yeah. I'm still here anyway. But what I'm going to say is there is a bit of a context with what's happened with PSG in comparison to what could happen with Manchester United. I'll give you the bit of context anyway with what I've learned with the PSG thing was when PSG was actually bought in 2011, PSG, when they were bought by QSI believed that they was buying the stadium, they was buying the club, the rights, and the local area that surrounds it. However, they've realised in the 12 years of owning that football club that they didn't do the right checks. They didn't have the right paperwork in place. They didn't go over it with the magnifying glass. They bought the club, they bought the stadium, and they bought the name of PSG, but the land that's around the Parc des Princes, they don't own it. It's the local community. It's the local authorities that own it. they would want to do and make the pledged investment that what City's done with the campus, but they can't do it because they don't own the land. Whereas anybody who buys Man United, the land, like I said, the car park and everything, you can build a new stadium on there, no problem. It's owned by Man United. The old, distillery factories that are overlapping the hotel football, you can easily buy those buildings out, or you can modernize them or knock them down, whatever you want to do with them. You can do something with them. It's all the whole land is owned by Manchester United. Therefore, Manchester United is a prospective offer, not just to Qatar and everything. And anyway, in terms of that's my personal sort of preferences. In terms of what the media are engaging in now, like we've heard just with Sir Jim, like it's a British bid. Like, it's not a British bid. If it's a British bid, then the British government are involved, are they not then? That's what a British bid would mean. Britain are funding him. It's if you want to categorise it, it's an American bid. Because Sir Jim ain't bidding and he ain't playing with his own money at this moment in time. He's playing with Wall Street's JP Morgan, Chase and Co. and Goldman Sachs's money. That's who he's playing with. That's who he's bidding with. It's like going to a casino with your mate's money. It's like me going to a casino with Nuruddin's money and gambling with it. That's what it is. He's not gambling anything. If he buys Man United, he was successful, yes. But if he doesn't buy Man United, he's not losing anything. He's not got anything to lose if he doesn't buy it, because he's not in debt to anybody. But he would be if he buys the football club. And that's the thing that I think people are looking at and thinking, there's all these different options. And in terms of the private sort of people who are in the phase and in the background, I have heard of a couple of names that could be at the table. HBSE, for example, a banking firm, are looking at going into partnership with Stephen Pagaluka in the same way that they did Boston Celtics owner Stephen Pagaluka, for those who wants to know, who was a mystery bidder who joined the party late for Chelsea, and he made the final five-man shortlist at the time, and then the Ricketts family pulled out. So he was on the final four. And another one of the parties who made the final four for Chelsea, Harrison Blitzer Sports Entertainment, are looking at buying into Manchester United, but it's understood that it might not be 100% of the football club that they want, because they've made minority investments in a lot of different sports teams in America. And I said when Eagle Eye Football, Rich came on here, I said, listen, your football club is funded 10% by these guys, Harrison Blitzer Sports Entertainment. And he realised at the time, well, Americans fund us in a way. In the same way that this myth around this Qatar bid, it's not going to be funded in any shape or form by the government. The money's coming out of their country, so of course it's going to be coming, or they're going to know where these funds and reserves are coming from. But the only way that they're going to pass it through is because now it's not an organisation that's bidding for Man United. It's a name. It is a name that is bidding. It's not like you said, it's not QIA or QSI or QIB, which is this bank that's actually funding it or anything like that. Even though QIA has 10% stake in QBI, which is, for anybody, so it's the Qatari Islamic Bank, for any people who want to know what it stands for, anyway, who have the funding. So basically, it's a case of QIA fund the bank, who funds the sheikh, who's going to buy Man United. That's essentially what it is. But it's a domino effect at the end of the day.
Listen, big up Gonzo. Gonzo said, no, 100%. Listen, this is a guy who was educated in this country, went to Sandhurst. Did he go to Sandhurst Military School? Sandhurst.
I think he did something to do with the British military or something, yeah, from what I've heard.
It's basically, a lot of the people who were rich people around the world, they sent their kids to this
Britain.
They sent to Britain to be educated.
Yeah.
And I think he went to, I think it's Sandhurst. It might be Sandhurst.
I think it is Sandhurst, yeah.
So Tom, just look it up for me quickly. But Ganso says F human rights. Now, we don't F human rights. We always have to, as human beings in this world, we always have to support and have solidarity with people's human rights. I want to become so dominant, win many trophies that we become bored of winning. I'm a football fan, no morality police. Well, yeah, I understand you have every right to have your opinion, but for me, solidarity is super important. And somebody was saying, we want Ineos. Moon relate. Are you a United fan? Let it be known if you are. If you're not, you're just trolling us because obviously you're scared of money. That's what you're scared of. Sorry, I meant Abrahamovich. I'm dyslexic, people. So apologies. Abrahamovich, not Ibrahimovic. Abrahamovich. cheeky buds. I said 3 months ago, Arabs will own Manchester United. Jim don't have a ball to compete with oil money. Well, we'll see. We'll see, innit? Like I said, at the end of the day, in Lilas, you're getting a bit too giddy because nothing has been accepted. All it is just bidding war now. And the Glazers want to get most of their money. The bid will be hundreds of debt free. Yeah, we've heard that. We've heard that. So I just want to get, is there anybody in this space, sorry, not in the space, in the stream, who are United fans, who are regulars, regular therapy army, who want Jim Radcliffe? How many of you want Jim Radcliffe?
Can you put a poll up there then, in the chat?
You know what? I think you have to do it from the phone, and I can't see how you do it on here.
Right. I was just thinking, because if we could get a poll up and then people can just vote via that.
You know what? I'm going to find out how you do it on the next stream that we do.
Next stream we'll do it for people.
About this, we'll put the poll up. Don't think hedge funds will be interested. Any financial gains will take years and years. Well, so Georgia B, so why are they interested in Chelsea then?
Yeah, but Chelsea was only, like, they only had to buy it for 2.5 and then the rest was pledged investment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think of that. Listen, you could have somebody who could come in and buy Chelsea for £2 billion, and they could the £2.5 billion, but they could only pledge to invest £1 billion or something like that, and it's lower for when they actually paid it for it in total. But it's the same thing with Chelsea. After 10 years, then banks and that are going to be coming back for their money. They're going to want their investment back. These hedge funds, they're going to want what they made out of the football club back. And they're gambling with their own money that Chelsea is going to be worth more in 10 years with them, making it into a global franchise in terms of they're going to make a new stadium or build up the revenues that way, or they're going to build it through prize money or TV rights. And then when they generate more capital, that football club over time, because it's a more successful and sustainable business, if they wanted to sell it, they could make their money back off of selling it. But like we say, at this moment in time, I always look. I look at all these different factors. I look at the Newcastle factor. I look at the Abu Dhabi factor with Manchester City. I look at the Qatar factor. I look at all of these different factors right now. Like you said, with Roman Abramovich, with Chelsea and everything like that. And I think once you've got government money or linked or whatever intertwined money from which is from that country, but it's not actually from the government, they try and say. Yeah. If that's the case, then it's okay for Newcastle to have it. It's okay for Manchester City to have it. It's okay for Chelsea to have it. But as soon as it's Man United, everybody's kicking off. You have all these different human rights groups and that. But the only thing I'm going to say is this: if they come into this football club and say we will make this football club an open right football club for LGBTQ, the community there, for the players, the staff, and we aren't going to judge what Manchester United is because it's not in our jurisdiction, because it's not in our country. If that's the case, and they're happy to accept the British morals and the British values, which they already do anyway, because they invest in our country anyway, Qatar, as a country and as a nation, I think they're pledging to invest another £10 billion into development in our country. So from an economy point of view, the British government would love this. Yeah. Let's be honest.
They own 14% of Sainsbury's.
Yeah, 17% of Sainsbury's. They own 26% investment in Barclays Bank. They built the Shard for the British government. They built a lot. They own the.
They own. I think
Harrods
they own
as well.
large shares in Heathrow Airport.
Heathrow Airport, yes, they've got obviously Harrods as well. Listen, these companies and that it's not a case of they're made up like Manchester City make up companies from Abu Dhabi and that. You could have Man United sponsored by Harrods. You could have them sponsored by Heathrow Airport. You could have them sponsored by a lot of different things and factors, because Qatar have these fundings. They have these reaches at the end of the day. But like I say, if you're against these certain things with like ethics and morals, and we'll probably get into stuff like xenophobia and that. If that's the sort of thing that's, boggling around your mind and everything, I'd be very careful of what you've actually got in your hand right now or what you possess in your life. Everybody owns a mobile phone nowadays, for example, right? And there's one leader in the world, and his name was Mohammed bin Salman, who owns Newcastle, Saudi Arabian state. He made a political stance at one point in time. He stood up and out of his pockets, he pulled out a Nokia brick from years ago, an old phone, and he pulled out an iPhone. And he said, this is the modern day future of what the Middle East has given the world. And this is why the Middle East has the money in terms of power over everything. And it was correct and proven right.
Yeah, big up to everybody. Bumbaye, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let me just get the super chat. Whoa, big up HKM Music. Big up, brother. Big up, big up. What happened to human rights when the Glazers were supporting racist Trump, who had the highest surge in black death by police during his presidency? Highest black death by a policeman signing the civil rights before. Well, the Glazers have also supported the Bush family. They're close to the Bush family. So yeah, that happened. Tom, come back. So yeah, the Glazers also charge people when they had what they called, those homes, what they're called, trailer parks. They charge people for having children extra money and having pets. Yeah. They are absolutely disgusting. They're disgusting human beings. There is no morally clean billionaire. It doesn't exist. The world is effed, people. There is no moral, and Britain as a country can nowhere have any moral standing about any country in the world. Europe, the West, do not have any moral standards that they can apply to anybody. There's no morals. 25,000 migrants have died trying to cross on the seas to get into Europe. When the economies of those African countries are being smashed through the IMF, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and World Trade Organizations. Educate yourselves, people. There ain't no good guys or bad guys. Billionaires, there's no clean billionaire. There's over 200 of you in here. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button because it lets you know when we're next live. But I'm telling you, do not fall for this high morality. When Sky took over football, the money went, it became a money thing. It took off. When Abramovich was allowed to own Chelsea, it became the first state-backed club. Chelsea did. That's why I and many other people refer to Chelsea from that day onwards, Chelsea, not Chelsea, Chelsea. Because the oligarchs that run, all the oligarch billionaires who were absolutely money laundering through the British banks and the London Stock Exchange was there to be seen. The guy who wrote the film Gomorrah, the Italian film about the Gomorrah, the mafia, wrote a book about London being one of the most corrupt cities in the world. Britain being one of the most corrupt, because people literally use Britain and the banks with their permission of Labour or Qatari, the ruling elites in this country, to let people do laundering money. So that was the first one. Man City being taken over by Dubai is the second one. PSG was the other one taken over. UEFA allowed it. Newcastle being allowed it. So this idea that Manchester United fans all of a sudden, and Manchester United fan, the soul of the football, the soul of Manchester United has been ripped out. BS. Manchester United used to protest against Martin Edwards' dad, Martin Edwards, protested against McManus and McMahon, and had the longest protest in the history of top flight football against any specific owner, against the Glazers, for 18 years and running. So don't give me any morality. Your biggest hypocrisy. Anything I said to you in my opening introductions in this debate, anything I said to you, don't believe. Go and look it up yourself. Bumbaye, welcome. We've got two bidders. I don't know if you've seen breaking news, but we've got two bidders. The Qataris have bid. The guy's name's Chef Jamin Hamad bin Al-Talhani. He is a United fan. He was educated at the military. I think it's Sandhurst in London, the military school. He supported United when he was in this country. And he opened up a foundation. So it's got nothing to do with the people who own Qatar. Sorry, the people who own PSG. He's opened up a foundation and he called it the 92 Foundation. And then in about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, a bid was also put in by Jim Radcliffe as well.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. So what are you asking me?
So we're asking you is that what are the 4 important things for you? Because everybody has got a personal choice in it. Everybody. For me, if this billionaire and state-owned football, if football wasn't a billionaire's game now, if football was football, who would I want own the club? I would want all of the fans in this country, all of them, to own their own football clubs. I would want that. That's my perfect scenario. That's my utopia. Because I feel fans care and love their football clubs. And they pass it on through generation of generation, mother to a daughter, son to a daughter, mother to a son. That's passed on, you know? So that's the perfect scenario, bro. But I know we don't live in a perfect scenario, and we don't live in a perfect world. Manchester United are that much in trouble in terms of the debt, in terms of how the club has been rinsed by the Glazers. Only billionaires can afford this football club because of the size, that Fergie's success, and the expansion of the name Manchester United, because of the Busby Babes, because of our history. You know, we've been the first English team to win the European Cup. Between all of that, our standing, our global reach, and the fact that we are the most romantic football or sport institution, bar none. Manchester United are the most romantic football clubs in the history of football. Man United are. Manchester United are. So,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I say it simple. Because
what are you asking?
My question is that what are 4 or 5 things that are important to you that new owners have to, what are the 5 tests they have to pass for you to get the club in order? What is it? What are the first 4 things? For me, it was no debt, never again. Man United before the Glazers were only ever in debt in the 1930s during wartime. So no debt, no debt leveraged against the football club. Never, nada. Number 2 was that I don't want. Number 2 was the infrastructure. Man United should have the best facilities because we're one of the biggest football clubs in the world. The best facilities, bar none. Number 3, I don't want Galacticos. I don't want what the other Qataris have done to PSG. I don't want any footballer coming to this football club thinking he's bigger than the manager, bigger than the club, bigger than the fans. So I don't want any prima donna Galacticos going on holiday one day undermining the manager. I don't want that. I do not want that. I want the team manager to be backed. I want the best people around in every position of the football department to have the experts and the most competent people. Okay, I want all of the surrounding area to be invested on and rebuilt so that local people who are diehard United fans can get jobs. These are the conditions that I want. And I could go to 10. What are the most important things to you? I don't want any dividends taken out. I don't want anybody making profit out of Man United. Everything that's been made, you put back into the football.
Okay. Well, I guess everybody wants exactly what you want. Those are the things. There's nothing really to add there. And I want the club to be run like a club, you know, with a vision to compete all the time with the best, to be organic, to have a little bit of what Man United is all about, which is, you know what you're saying, for it to be a little bit more organic and to compete, bro. So the bid that you really want is the Qatari bid. That's the bid that will be without debt. That's the bid where
Well, I don't know if that is. Listen, Bumbaye, I don't know if that's the bid I want. What they write in a PR paper sheet and what they will do is totally 2 different things. I want whatever they promise. Listen, all of the bidders, when they come in, everything they promise, I want that to be pinned up to them. And if they not pass one, I want them to be gone out of the football club. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I'm not looking at this personally. This is not what I want. I just want all of these categories, all of the things that I named to be there. That's what I want.
I think the first thing that everybody wants is to be rid of the vultures that are currently in charge. So that once that's done, that's the biggest obstacle out of the way. From what I am understanding from Sky News, like everybody else, is that the Qatar bid is one that will be taking Manchester United and totally debt-free. It will be a buy. It won't be a leverage. Jim Ratcliffe, I don't know what that will be. I don't know. That's why I'm saying. So from what
He's
you're
going to the
saying,
bank. He's going to go to the banks. The
yeah,
Ineos is going to borrow the money. His company.
okay, okay. So if you want debt free, it's the Qatari bid. That's the big thing. Um, then the Qatar, the Qatari man is saying that he wants to develop the stadium. He wants to invest in the infrastructure. He wants to develop the women's team. He's saying all the right things. Now, like you say, everybody's going to say the right things. Everybody wants to start on the right foot. Everybody's going to try and tell the fans why I'm the right guy. You want the fans on board. You want to be liked as an owner, don't you? You don't want more problems. So we can only hope. But um, if it's sold, hopefully it will be better than what it has been under the Glazers. Because, as you know, I'm very focused on the pitch and not too focused off the pitch. That's where you come in, really. So only now am I starting to really pay attention and realize, because it's coming really to light, how deficient we have been and how underwhelming we have been and why we've been so shit for 10 years.
No,
Why teams like around us are playing in a league, not really facing Man United. Pep Guardiola is one of the great managers of all time. Manchester City, this team is special. Liverpool, what Klopp's done is unbelievable. They're playing for the 7 years, 8 years they've been here. They've never really faced Manchester United. Not to say even if we're at our best we'd win it, but we've not even been in the conversation to compete for anything worthy of merit, being the Premier League or the Champions League. That has to change. It is changing because we have a good manager in there. And hopefully whoever comes in sees that and we just get continuity, he gets backed. And this club starts to be taken into the future and put back where it should be, really, because there's no shortage of bidders and the price is not small, but that's because they understand, as you say, what they are buying. This is a special, unique football club, sports institution in the world of all sports. In terms of romance, that's what I fell in love with. Man United. Do you know what I mean? I fell in love with this club because of the history, because of everything that it went through. That's what made me a Man United fan. Um, so unfortunately, the world, as you say, um, it's not rosy anymore. Football is a capitalist game. It is a business. It is strictly business now. No matter how you see it, there are owners that come in and can have the luxury of throwing money away. But if they're going to throw it away, at least, hopefully they do it with a plan, with a vision. And that vision isn't just to take out, but I really care and I want to compete with the best teams in the world. And I know we should be competing. And I see the potential, what this club has behind it and what it can be if I want to make it that. So good intentions, man, is what I think I want from an owner. And hopefully he shares the aspirations that the fans are so vividly crying and screaming from the terraces for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Big up. Listen, big up Tom. Hopefully Tom battery most likely died, people. His battery, the program we use on here, it kills people's batteries if he's not on if he hasn't got the laptop. He's probably somewhere else working, reporting on something. So that's why Tom had to get off quickly. Big up Tom. HK Music says, big up site for the super chat, bro. He says, I want Arnold Murta fired immediately and replaced with a best in class. I don't know a best in class, but I want competent people. I want people who are experts in their field and competent people. That's what I want. Windy says this, that if the Qataris are successful, because at the end of the day, we don't know if to me, I want to quickly just go into for 2 minutes about the other bidders who are silent, because to me, that's worrying. Because the hedge funds, the guys who are in New York Stock Exchange and all that, who think they can buy Man United and then invest on the stadium, then sell it for 10 billion in 5 years' time. I do not want that. I do not want that whatsoever. And there's reasons why they've been silent. But Windy says the Qataris are going to be using United for whatever reason. Most likely, if it's got linked back to the Qatari government, it's sport washing. But I'm telling you, sport washing was used by Russia when they bought Chelsea. Sport washing is being used by Man City when Dubai lot bought City. Sport washing is being used by Newcastle, the way Newcastle's been bought. And they're the Qataris who own PSG. So I'm sorry, when you sponsor like these clubs globally and you're from wherever, all of it is sports washing. Why do you think the Glazers were doing
I think football, bro, with all due respect, as I was saying earlier, football has two parallels that run simultaneously side by side. One parallel seems to be overpowering the other one. One parallel belongs to the fans, people like us who love this club because of its history, in its victories and its defeats, in its decorum, in everything about it, in the good times and the bad times. We know why this club became what it was today. You know, there was tragedy involved, there was loss of life involved, there was adversity involved. It was quintessentially a people's club if you think of where it's situated, how it was born, how it came. But unfortunately, the world
railway club. That's where it came from.
Yeah. But the world that we live in, the other parallel is, listen, football now is all about money. Exactly. And if you've got money, then you can play. I just hopefully it's not going to become like the IPL where you're going to get billionaire owners and they're just doing fantasy football.
Well,
that's what it's becoming like. That's what it's becoming like.
Listen,
and
that's what it is, Bumbai. That's what it is. Exactly what it is.
Yeah,
and you know what?
And we have to.
And the reason why I said it, once you let the genie out of the bottle, what do we know about the genie story? You can't put the genie back in the bottle now.
It's come out. Genie's come out, I think, bro. If you look at how football is now, the genie's come out the bottle. Now, different clubs have different owners and with different aspirations. Some owners want to make a club sustainable, want to build a club up and sell a club. Some owners are happy to get to a certain level, stay at that level and keep things running smoothly. Some owners want to be the very best and they go all out. So there's different motives. I think anyone that buys Man United, though, it's safe to say, well, it's not safe to say, but you'd hope that they want to bring Manchester United to where it should be. That's why you're buying this club. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much potential there to exploit by investing in this club, making it phenomenal again. It's all there for you. Apart from if you just want to build, take. I mean, the way Man United has been treated is shocking, man.
It's despicable. Listen, it's despicable. Let me just get this proper comment. The Qataris are going to be using United for whatever reason. Aspect of it is sport washing. We can hold our hands and say that. But I'm sorry, if you don't want Man United to be used by sport washing, you should have thought about that when Chelsea got used, when City and Newcastle got used. So I'm sorry, I'm not here for anything else. So United needs to be use them back. Have them fund programs in the area, schools, risk programs, homelessness initiatives, 100%. And then Fabi says Qatar on their statement. But the big difference, Fabio, is that I want them to be the core principles of Man United takeover. I don't want it in a PR spin like Ben Jamal and Neil Ashton. I don't want it like that. I want it to be real. I don't want PR anymore. I don't tell me what you're gonna say and the reason why we're that people is because none of these media who are now saying, oh, the heart and soul being ripped out, moralizing about Qatar. Where were they when the Glazers ripped the heart out of Man United? Where were they? They were nowhere to be seen.
No, listen, bro.
Daniel Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, Daniel Taylor and Michael Delaney. Is it Daniel Harris or Daniel Taylor? Two journalists that I can remember who went out of their way to write lengthy articles saying the leverage takeover of Manchester United is one of the most disgraceful things. And you know how bad it was? Soon as the Gillette and Hicks saw that, Glazers doing that to us, then they went and bought Liverpool and then loaded them with debt. Liverpool were within hours of being bankrupt. going to shit.
think-
Everybody stepped in. So when you say, oh, when you rival fans go, we want Glazers in Glazers, just remember the model was there. So where were all these journalists? Where were they? Where were you? I never saw you in the fucking protest. I never saw you in all of the protests. I never saw you. I saw certain journalists who was reporting in the protest. I never saw the moralizing. Your moralizing was nowhere to be seen.
Look, broski, listen, the morality of football as a sport, it doesn't exist anymore. Football sold its soul because look at the owners that we already have in this country. You know, the fact that money has been allowed into the game, Khalas, tells you that English football sold its soul quite a while ago. So one more addition of people who may not be the most savory and noble characters is not really worth shouting about at the expense of Manchester United, especially. Yeah, because you've got the Saudis are here. You've got, you know, Roman Abramovich was beautiful when he came. You know, we welcomed him with open arms, and all of a sudden we had a conscience because of the war, and then we
Lilias, we really hope and we send you our condolences for your father's passing, brother. We're really sorry about your loss. Big hugs. Go ahead, Bombay.
Yeah, let me echo that, man. That's I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope you know what I mean, the man upstairs grants you guys patience. It's not easy that. But yeah, I think let's not even get into morality of football. It's gone now. It's just about football is a capitalist it's a capitalist sport. We are a super league amongst the leagues of the world if you look at the spending and you know you look at what's going on here. Yeah, just forget that argument. There is no argument. Because we've already taken, you know, we've already swallowed the poison. It's too late. It's gone. Football, if you're going to make radical changes, man, you're going to really shake things up. But football now is just about money, unfortunately. But having said that, you hope that the people that are pumping money pump it in a way that is at least a little bit in line with what you'd like to see, you know, the club become. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Listen, we're going to leave it there, people. Just to go back, all of the media moralizing about Man United, Crimea River. Crimea River. Go and look at history. Go and even look at recent modern history. Look at all the deaths that all the people drowned, 25,000 migrants, where these African and other countries have been wrecked by Western instruments, war instruments, Western institutions who are for me weapons of instruments like the IMF, World Bank, World Trade Organization. Go and look it up. To me, there's nobody moralizing here. Nobody can moralize.
Football is just a reflection of the world that we live in. And the city of London, once colonialism finished, the next empire was the financial empire. You know, we set up in the Cayman Islands what is called a trust. Exactly. It was the father of David Cameron. All these, London is built on you know, dark money, basically. If you look at the Russian influx in terms of what's available in London, if you look at the Arabian influx of money in London, the Chinese influx of money, it's not that it's foreign money, but we know it's not all clean money, and we know where it comes from. But it's built. London is built on that money, so it's too late. You know, our government's seat is surrounded by and built on, you know, blood money, you can say, hit at home and abroad. So it's too late. If you've got money, we're not going to turn you away. It's that simple. Even if you look at the British passport, for example, if anybody wants to go and check that out, just as a small example, the average person goes through hell to get a British passport. But if you do have the money, you can buy one. You can buy one. And that should tell you everything you need to know, really. It's no different all over the world now. Money is king, and you know, football is a business. It's all,
there's no morality.
That's gone. No, there's no morality.
Actually, you know what? The people who've got the biggest morals are the people who've got no money, because the money's not corrupting their morals. That's the
Yeah.
only truth. But the billionaire class, the elites who rule the world, they don't have any morals. They don't. Nuruddin, they are buying more than the club. They're buying your time, the ability to control changes that happen. Therefore, fans stop existing because the control is gone 100%, Joe. 100%. Big up, Joe, by the way. Big up to every one of you. Like I said, for me, it's not about where you're from. I don't care where you're from. What about JB Morgan and the connection with Epstein? Exactly. The head of JB Morgan, the former head of JB Morgan.
Man, look, bottom line, if you want clean money, then that's, Manchester United will not be able to compete anymore. There's no clean money. There is no such thing as clean money out there.
Now.
No, there isn't, man. Not in this day and age. No way.
And you know what? My preferred ownership is that every fan base to own their football club. That's my preferred. I don't want to be owned by Qatar. I don't want to be owned by Radcliffe. I don't want to be owned by anybody. But that's my utopia. That is my utopia.
I'm sure everybody will share that utopia. The world now, from the ground up, everything is strictly about money. Yeah. If you have money, you can play. If you don't have money, way outside, man.
Good night,
football
Vienna.
is good night, Vienna, bro. If you're looking for morality and stuff, then first of all, you're going to have to relinquish everything that the Premier League is. Tell everybody that's invested here. Manchester City are done out here. Newcastle are done out here. We have to stay with the way that we've got. That's just 3 clubs that I know about. PSG, cancelled them. Do you know what I'm saying? It's unrealistic. It's stupid. You start coming with the moral argument. Forget all that. Sky, this country, Europe, the world, everybody, it's about money now, guys. You just hope you want to get an owner that will do good things in line with what we like. And, take the club has potential to be the Don. If you want to make it that, it will, it will be a good investment.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna go now, but big up to every one of you. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit the notification button because it lets you know when we're next live. Sir Rishi just said, Sky Sports have put Ineos have just put a bid in. Who would you prefer? You're gonna have to watch the show. I've got my criteria. I've got my 5 or 7 bullet points. You have to meet that test. So whoever meets that test, then can be the owner of Manchester United.
Bro, do you know what?
Don't meet that test. I don't want you anywhere near my and I just want to say to Mazin,
to reply
on methane, I just want to say, don't fall for any IDK accounts. I know accounts. That's just rubbish. They've just put the bid in. Qatar, they don't know that if the Glazers have even accepted. We're not gonna know till about a month or 2 months who's gonna buy Man United. We don't know that. So people need to stop getting giddy.
Bro, just to respond, Jim Ratcliffe doesn't have an endless tap. So my only worry is what I like about Ratcliffe. He's local. He is a proper Man United fan. Do you know what I mean? He started off not born into a rich family, so the background is at least relatable a little bit. Well, much more than the opposite bid. But I just fear that his bid is not going to be as clean cut for the club in terms of leverage and in terms of being out of the red. That's the only worry there. Whereas the Qatari bid, you know what it's like, man. Money is no object. It will come. Yeah, the debts are paid, clean slate. Let's see what we can do now and move forward. It's a safer, more guaranteed bet. Morals doesn't even come into it now. That's long gone for me. It's important, but I think it's just not realistic to talk about that anymore in the world that we live in the condition of football.
But then where do you stop? Where do you stop then? Because every billionaire in the world has got skeletons in his closet. I'm sorry.
Well, I think you're going to have to stop. Where it stops is when football becomes a monster that is out of control, and that will probably mean some administration of some major clubs that will show you that this financial endless spending of certain owners in football will mean that a club will die and live at the behest of the business that gives that club money. So not everybody has an endless tap like an oil well, but you never know, man. The world, you know what I mean? At any moment, things can change. And if your fortunes change, then the entire club that is not self-sustaining and reliant on a sugar daddy, that club will also have its fortunes changed overnight. That's the danger of this
Exactly.
level of injection and
Like
this
for example,
level of reliance on
like for example, and no other fans can ever accuse us of having a sugar daddy, because like the song goes, people, we've won it all, we've seen it all, we've won the lot, we're Man United and we're never gonna stop. Ole ole, ole ola. For example, if the people who own Man City bought Sunderland, they'll be Sunderland will be where City are now. Remember that. If the City owners bought QPR or Leeds or Everton, they would be where they are, people. Manchester United have won every trophy there is to win in top flight football. Let it be
without
known. Let that be known, people. We're not a plastic club. We've got history. We've got history because of what the damage the Glazers have done to this football club. We've got a stadium that's falling apart. We've got a training ground that's falling apart. We've got our youth team, under 23s team, youth teams playing in another city called Lee, and our women's playing in another city called Lee, and that's what we have. So this is what we are. But the funny thing, Nate, apparently this guy who's a United fan who wants to buy United with a 92 foundation is a banker.
Yeah, man, you have to accept it. You have to accept it. Look, that's how football is now. But do you know, you have to swallow it.
Wampers, mate. Banker wampers,
bro,
mate.
It's a bitter pill to swallow, but if you don't swallow, then you can't play. That's just the way life is now. It's out of our hands. Everybody here would know, they have an ideal type of owner, ethics, virtues, consideration for what's gone on, what this club is about. But it's just unfortunate that the world has not gone that route now.
But the world is full of bankers.
Andy Mitten was saying, I was just listening earlier, I don't know if you heard him, he said, Manchester United is a club that, in actual fact, even without Sugar Daddy, would still be able to do what it wants, really.
Yeah.
In terms of what it generates. That's what he's saying. I don't know. He just said that. This is a fresh interview. He said, Manchester United don't actually need a Sugar Daddy.
Yeah.
But the disaster that has happened with the Glazers, you can clear that mess up very quickly if the Qataris stick to the word, this gentleman, and he says, this will be a debt-free takeover. So I'll plug the hole, the big financial hole. The balance sheet will be hopefully clear, and we'll start work from there. So he's taking, fair play. Man is not going to a bank. Man is putting in to plug a gap, if that's how it goes. So we'll see. But do you know what? This season, all the madness aside, I think has been a great season for us so far, man. Honestly, I'm really happy as a United fan at the minute. So it's not all bad.
Right, big up every one of you people. Join us for the match preview, Leicester preview tomorrow. Big up, smash a like on the video on your way out, people. I hate bankers. I just don't want any bankers. But to me, Ronald,
you don't want any bankers. You are playing the Vauxhall Conference.
Listen, bankers came and ruined my football club. But this is a foundation. He's called it the 92 Foundation. So we'll see. We will see, people. Like I said, if you pass the criteria test, it'll be what it is. There's only one club in Manchester. That's Man City. Mark Lee. Mark Lee. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. Thanks for the troll, man. Thanks for the troll. How Jim gonna build a new stadium, develop the infrastructure, debt hanging over the club again? I'd rather have Qatar. Well, that's just you. Everybody's got their opinion from me. The criteria to me, I don't know any of these people. It's not personal. Nothing. I've got nothing personal. It's personal with the Glazers because I've seen what the Glazers have done to my football club. But I don't know.
Look, I'll tell you one thing about look. One thing.
Let me finish this point.
Look,
I don't know the Qatar lot. I don't know Jim Ratcliffe. But the criteria for me, can you meet the criteria? You can't.
Look, brother. I don't think people are going to pay too much attention to our criteria taking over the club. We're hoping, we're hoping. But what we are doing is getting rid of something that's shocking. One thing with Arabic owners, that I must say is good, is that all the Arab nations, the oil-rich nations that have the money, other than the fact I think there is some envy from certain parts of society that want to come with bullshit. I'm not interested in that. It's another World Cup job. Forget that. That's dead. That's gone. We sold our souls long time ago. Finished. But Arabic ownership, man, is good in the sense that they are all cousins, related. And they have a tendency, if you look at buildings, if you look at development of those emirate countries, to want to compete with each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're an owner and I'm an owner. We're cousins. You say, yeah, do you like what I've acquired today? Look, I bought Neymar. I say, all right, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there is no like, this is the danger of Jim Ratcliffe and why I'm thinking Qatari ownership is better, because I think Jim Ratcliffe, there will be remnants of the type of financial situation and constraints in terms of building quickly the kind of things that you're talking about. With Qatari ownership, he's going to want to compete with his cousin, a couple of miles down the road with infrastructure. He's going to want to be competitive. There's going to be some banter between them. Really, that's how it is. I remember when they were building the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, it got called Burj Khalifa after the guy who is the leader of Abu Dhabi, because he gave him the money to finish it. Do you understand? That's how they compete. So Qatari ownership, I think, is good in that sense. I've accepted long ago. It's out of my hands. I'm just one little grain of sand, man, in a long beach. What I say has nothing to do with it. But I would probably go with that. And now that puts us back on an equal footing with everybody else in terms of not only spending, which we have spent, but hopefully the vision.
Listen, at the end of the day, nothing is official.
Yeah.
The Glazers have said if they don't think their evaluation, they're not going to sell the club. So we're going to have to wait and see. Qatar bid is in. The bid from the Jim Ratcliffe is in. So we're going to have to see. And there's another 3 bidders apparently. Saudi Arabian company might be bidding, and 2 Americans might be bidding as well. And somebody from the Asia might be bidding. So it is what it is. Jim Ratcliffe's ruined Nice. Brother needs loans to buy us. The xenophobic media needs to stuff. Yeah. But anyway, listen. Love and light, people. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow night tomorrow evening for tomorrow midday actually. But I'm gonna do the match preview midday. Tomorrow midday for the match preview. Take care, people. Or maybe morning. I might do it in the morning. Love, light, peace. Take care, people. Good night. Win, lose or draw. Glazers out. Bankers out. Even though apparently a banker's bid for Man United. And the other guy is getting the money from bankers. Oh, God. Anyway, good night. Take care. Thank you, Mumbai. Stay on the line. Stay on the line, Mumbai.